I mean, to really be, like, perfectly complete, such a game would also need to provide you a mechanical benefit for pulling off tricks. And I'm not sure what that would be. Because in an action game, that's actually really easy. You just, the more points you get, the more currency you have to buy your upgrades, meaning the better you do, right, the better off you are. Which has its upsides and downsides, certainly. I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking out loud at the moment. Hey, Crystal. And this looks like a boss fight of some kind. Yep. Hi, Dingo Dial.
How's he, ain't it? Rumour is you two chumps have got your mitts in some treasure. And I want a piece of that pie.
I have no idea what you just said.
It's not like that was difficult. If that was supposed to be a joke about, you know, incomprehensible Australian accents, you could have gone for something a little more like... you know, incomprehensible? Hi. Oh, and now we play jump rope. Okay, that's a oh. Well, we missed. I'm not sure why we have pig sounds, given that he is absolutely neither pig nor something like that. He is, in fact, a dingo and a crocodile, hence Dingodile. Oh, I see. He follows you this time. Okay. Sneaky. Oh, and that's just a wall of fire. Yeah, this is a neat boss fight. Like, this is probably one of the ones they've actually like, ooh, okay. That's, ooh, okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. That's clever. This is how I think a boss fight should be designed. They have a pattern that's recognizable, but they still have one that you can like pick up on the fly. They'll change it to keep the fight interesting. What? Okay. You know, assuming that the hitboxes aren't complete garbage. Nice. Bonus style pets. I do appreciate seeing bosses change up their pattern a bit as the fight goes on, just because it feels like the boss is getting smarter and adapting to your tactics as well. Actually, there was a really cool bit in Batman Arkham City where you fight Mr. Freeze, and basically a measure of how well you know all of the different stealth takedowns in the game. Because every time you use one of those against him, he does something to alter the environment so that you can't use the same one against him. It's a really cool fight, and it feels like you're really facing off against somebody who's as smart as Mr. Freeze is. Okay. See, this would have been a great place to use that little crash disintegrates animation. Rather than the crash flops over. The only real criticism I have of this particular fight is that it doesn't necessarily communicate very clearly in any capacity what the gimmick is for getting him to making him vulnerable is. Like, if I didn't know that you had to hit those radiation signs, then probably, I don't know if I'd have picked up on what to do. Now, that's a relatively easy fix to make, actually, because all you really have to do is make those into really big targets rather than just those small radiation signs. And I think, honestly, that would be one of the better designed boss fights I've seen in the game. In fact, quite possibly the best designed boss fight. Some attack callouts, some like voice lines, so that you can tell what he's gonna do. Apparently not. Voice lines, I think, are really important to... I mean, obviously, they're not perfect. You have to also take into account users who may not be able to hear the lines for whatever reason. Either they are deaf/hard of hearing, or they have to play the sound off for whatever reason. Things of that nature. I think if your game is completely unplayable without sound, then you have a serious issue in who can play it. If your game is unplayable, because I'm pretty sure I felt like I said completely playable without sound. If your game is not playable without sound, if you have to rely on sound entirely to play the game, then I think that creates an issue for certain players to be able to play the game. And I've seen, and arguably, like, that's, like, it's hard to design around that with something like a rhythm game, wherein the entire point is the music and working in concert with it. But I've seen there's a variety of games that have actually done stuff to that have done various things to make these things more accessible. Elite Agents, for example, you don't just have to tap in rhythms and thing. There are visual indicators of when the beat is supposed to be tapped. Shoo! How did he get there, by the way?
I don't know.
Like, how did he wind up specifically in here? Could've just thrown in a gag. Wow, it's like a warp room.
And a freeze on us.
Huh. Do you normally game over at that fight?
No.
That might be why. Because we had a loading screen there. And that probably got the game to unload a bunch of the stuff it had loaded, which is part of the problem with open world design. Especially in this era of games. Wow, we were just sliding across the floor. Obligatory stealth section. This time with paper airplanes instead of spears, okay? Like, it fits the aesthetic. It fits the slapstick sense of humor of Crash, but... perhaps you should have added some slightly more convincing sound effects rather than a complete lack of them? Yeah, that's smart. Stand right next to friggin' explosive crates. Explosive crates that go off at the slightest touch, mind you. Hey.
You know, at this point in my last walkthrough, I had like almost like 70 lives.
Yep. Ooh. Good grief, what do they teach here?
School.
I mean, okay, fine. Obligatory joke about school being full of evil people, but... Okay, also those are glass cases. You should not be able to blend in behind those. Oh, doggy! Bad dog. Ooh, stuff to bounce on. Hey! I do like the music in this area. Okay, so my question is, why did we have to go through the sewers to get into here?
Because the game logic.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Like, in an ideal situation, you want to have... You want to have some justification for why you have to go through each level, if you're going to have a story in your game. Okay. Question. Why?
Because.
Like, I understand wanting to have a rising pit section, sure. But, what kind of mad scientist would destroy their own research library? Especially one that, you know, you need to... One that contains the materials... Presumably contains the materials you need to, you know, teach in a school? Uh-oh. Well, I guess it's gonna be short-lived. Or not. Okay. Is if this is an everyday occurrence, or if this is just something they're doing to try and get rid of you because you're an intruder. Because in the former case, that's like... What? Oh, balls. But in the latter case, like... Smooth.